Let's bring on the former Bengal quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner here in town at USC, Raider quarterback, Arizona Cardinal quarterback, and a guy who's been a great contributor to this program. Let's bring him on. Carson Palmer is in the building.
Good to see you, boys. Good to see you.
Got a pair of fresh shoes on there.
Fresh J's.
Yeah,
some fresh J's. I've been saving these for your show.
They look good
in person.
They look good.
Thank you.
We saw Mark Sanchez. He came in yesterday, and he had his Nikes, and he had the swoosh that was USC colors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had fresh shoes on as well. He did admit you were faster than him. Barely.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably still faster than him, I'm going to guess. He might have had bigger hands than you.
I doubt that.
I don't know.
Do you have a ruler?
He had paws. I mean, he had some paws there.
But see, you didn't just shake Carson's hand. His hands are gigantic. You have big hands.
Mark Sanchez.
Good size paws.
Okay, check the combine here because I might go Sanchez. Paulie?
I have from the combine the 10th highest, best hand size of all time is Mark Sanchez at 10.5 inches.
What? Yeah.
I'm not in the top 10.
I have you at 10.25, but I don't know if that's official.
Wow.
But check the 40 times.
No, he did admit. I mean, that's the one thing Sanchez has on you is he has bigger hands.
Okay.
That's it.
I'll take speed over hand size.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Does hand size matter?
It does. Especially when you play on the East Coast in the wind, in the rain. It just helps you get a little bit better grip. And you just don't see that many guys in the league right now with, I don't know what the top 10 is, 10-something inches, but you don't see many guys in the 8s and 9s. It just gets more and more difficult with the wind to spin it.
And Aaron Rodgers has big hands. He's talked about that he liked the football inflated a little bit more. And then you have the story with Kenny Pickett where oh my God, he didn't want to get his hands measured. Like that's a nail. I guess he puts his hands in his pockets at the combine. Like, I don't want to have you measure my hands, like my stock is going to drop.
It does. I mean, there's so many coaches, there's so many organizations that are looking at that number, and that's an extremely important statistic for those guys.
Why didn't you run more?
Well, I did run a bit, and then I blew my knee out, and everything changed after that. I lost a little bit of speed. It took me a couple years. That's what blows me away about Joe Burrow right now is he blew his knee out last year, mid-season, and you don't see any ramifications from that injury. You don't see him tentative. You don't see him, a lot of times you'll have an issue stepping into throws, transferring your weight, turning on that front leg, and that knee spinning and rotating. You're not seeing it all with Joe. I felt it for at least a couple years, and it took me a couple years to really feel 100%. With Joe right now, he looks 100%. He looks like he did at LSU or before the knee injury with Cincinnati.
Paulie, give Carson the poll question.
Okay, which quarterback would you bet on? You got to bet on who would have the most Super Bowl appearances in the next decade going forward. Super Bowl appearances. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes.
I think I like what's going on in Buffalo. I like the combination of ownership, GM, coaching staff, and quarterback with Josh Allen. I think the ceiling is extremely high. Not that it's not high with Burrow. I think he's got an extremely high ceiling. But when you combine the ownership group, coaching staff, and the division, you've got Miami still trying to figure it out for Josh Allen. You've got New England, who is still New England, but they don't have Tom Brady. Who else am I missing in the AFC East?
The Jets, Dolphins.
You got the Jets. I like that setup for Josh to get in the playoffs, and I think we'll see him in at least one Super Bowl, if not more, coming up.
See, I said Mahomes just because you still have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Nobody has that.
For a couple years until Tyreek Hill has to get paid, until Travis Kelce's next deal up. They've got some issues. They're paying Patrick, they're paying him a much different salary than Joe Burrow's getting right now. So Joe Burrow's he's got that going for himself salary cap wise. But I just think Josh Allen's ceiling is only going to get higher. We're going to see him continue to get better, and we haven't seen the best of him yet. And it's been really good so far.
But it feels like that window of opportunity is about 5 years. That you get that rookie contract with your quarterback because that's how Seattle won with Russ. Once you start paying these guys, it's really hard to pay everybody else. The Bengals are in really good shape right now. Justin Herbert with the Chargers. They're in really good shape right now. But then that's going to change when those guys get paid $50 million a year.
You know, I think the most interesting thing after the Super Bowl, whether the Bengals win or not, is the Bengals are going into next season with $58 or $59 million in cap space. They've got Joe Burrow, who is watching what they do. When you look at this Bengals roster, before the season started, this was not a Super Bowl roster. There was not many people saying, "Oh man, look how deep the Bengals are. Look how talented they are." Nobody saw this coming. Joe Burrow's watching how the organization goes forward after this season. He wants to know what they're going to do with that $60 million in cap space. His deal's up is in 2 years. He can sign a big extension in 2 years, and he is really, really watching. Are the Bengals going to do what they did in the past, which is just kind of sit around and wait in the draft and hope somebody falls to them? Are they going to make a little bit of a splash in free agency? This is a chance where they can rebuild that offensive line, get another good swing tackle, get another pass rusher on defense. They've got a lot of cap space going into next year, and nobody is more curious what they're going to do with it than Joe.
Yeah, and you went through this because the Bengals are a cheap organization, or they have been, and you have this opportunity. And you're right. If I'm Joe Burrow, let's take advantage of this opportunity. Plus, I'm going to guess free agents are going to want to play for a team that's led by Joe Burrow.
Receivers, offensive linemen, guys want to get to the Super Bowl. And Joe looks like he's got that magic. He's got the charisma. He's now done it. He's gotten here. And the Bengals in the past haven't pulled out the checkbook and written big checks and signed it. You got Chandler Jones, who's a great pass rusher that's a free agent. There's some game changers.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is another weapon. I mean, if I'm Joe, I'm looking at, Brandon Scherf, who's in Washington, who was a top 10 pick, who's been a great guard, an all-pro. He's a free agent. There's some tackles that are free. So there's enough pieces to continue to build on this current roster that got to a Super Bowl that nobody thought was going to get them to a Super Bowl. So Joe's watching that, and we're all watching as Bengal fans. We want to see them make some moves in free agency, not sit around in the draft and hope somebody falls to them. Get aggressive and continue to build on what they've got started here.
We're talking to Carson Palmer, joining us on behalf of Level Select CBD. Make sure you use the promo code Carson40. Growing up in Cincinnati, and I tell this story often on the show, if you say you're from Cincinnati, people go, "Oh, the Bengals." Mm-hmm. That would be the first thing that they would say. As the quarterback for Cincinnati, when you guys weren't playing well, what is that feeling like every single day when you're walking around, or your wife will hear something, just being the quarterback for a team that people around the league would laugh at?
It's frustrating. And we heard Joe talk about it early. He got tired of the narrative of the same old Bengals. He's talked about as soon as they beat the Raiders in the playoffs, he started talking about changing the narrative. And we're a different team. We're a different organization than we were in the past. Being in Cincinnati, the fan base there is so passionate and love. You didn't hear that in Cincy as much as when you would travel or you go to California, or you go to these different places and somebody go, "Oh, you play for the Bengals." It's not that. It's not so much the case in Cincinnati. There's so much passion. That's why this Super Bowl is so excited. This fan base deserves this. They've been waiting 30-something years for this. They've never won a Lombardi trophy. So it's an exciting time to be in Cincinnati. It's an exciting time to be a Bengal. And, I mean, for Joe to be here in year 2, this is the beginning of a Tom Brady-like legacy. Tom got in early, won his first one early, and then continued to stack trophies after that. Joe's in that same category of, can he continue to build after this game? Can he win multiple Super Bowls? He's not wanting to win one. Joe's got a different mindset. He's a different individual. He's seeing multiple championships, and this is the start of them.
What's going on with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals that he has now scrubbed his social media of anything that's related to the Arizona Cardinals?
I think it looks like a contract play to me. I mean, obviously he's upset, displeased with his current negotiation between his agent and the organization.
He just wants to up this. He wants to get a head start and get that, like Josh Allen got in Buffalo. He wants a year early.
He wants it today. He didn't want to wait an extra year. And say what you want, how different guys go about getting that next contract. It certainly, to me, looks like a contract move, and he's trying to leverage himself and position himself for a contract this upcoming season.
Have we seen the best of Kyler Murray?
We have at times. That
I don't know what the ceiling is for a quarterback who plays that way, that style, and his strengths and weaknesses.
Well, you're seeing his weaknesses in the last couple games. Teams are not letting him outside the pocket. He is not 6'7". He is not 6'2". He's not really 6 feet tall. So what they're doing is keeping him in the pocket. Unfortunately, from a contractual situation for Kyler, that was his chance. The playoffs were his chance against the Rams to get a new contract this year. Unfortunately, he did not play well. They did not play well. He lost a ton of leverage. And when you're a player in the league and your contract is coming up or you have a chance to sign a new contract and you have leverage, you've got to take advantage of it. He did not take advantage of the situation. All the leverage was on his side. All he had to do was play well. They could still have lost the Rams, but he had to play well. He lost all the leverage he had going into it. And it's unfortunate because you don't get it very often. When you're a player and you're coming up on a deal, that leverage is massive. And the weight that carries throughout the organization is massive. And when it's on your side, you got to take advantage of it. He lost a lot of leverage in that playoff game.
Well, same with Baker Mayfield. He lost all of his leverage this year by being banged up. And I think that's why he kept trying to play is I want to get some leverage here, and it only made it worse.
Same deal. And both organizations are in the same spot. They've got to pay Baker and they've got to pay Kyler. Both of those organizations, you cannot – regardless of how poorly Baker played or how bad that playoff game went for Kyler, you got to pay him. You took him number one. You're not going to go back to the drawing board and start all over and try to find the next guy. They've got to pay him. Both of those guys lost some money and left some money on the table with their performance this year.
Brady mentioned on his podcast that never say never. So he's only been home for 6 days. Now all of a sudden he's reconsidering. Like, what is it like when you retired, that first month you're at home? What's it like?
It was awesome. I wasn't at home. We traveled. We went up to Lake Tahoe. I played I did a lot of things I've been wanting to do. I love to hunt and fish, and hunting and fishing season for the most part is during football season. So as soon as I didn't have a job playing football, I did a lot of the things with my family, with some buddies that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do for 25 years of playing football. So I think Brady is a habitual creature, a creature of habit. He likes to do the same thing over and over and over again. Now that that's not there and he's just gotten a very short taste of it, I think there's a thought in his head like, man, I could win 8. Maybe I could win 8. Let's see what happens with Chris Godwin. Are they going to re-sign Chris Godwin in Tampa? Are they going to re-sign Ryan Jensen, the center in Tampa? Maybe he's waiting to sit back and see what happens. He's getting a little bored. He's used to starting, whatever point in the offseason he starts training again and doing his flexibility
But then
work.
don't announce you're retiring if you're still not fully retired.
It's hard to give it up. It's hard when you've been doing it for 20-something years.
And
you're in
at that
your 40s,
level, I mean, those numbers, he could easily be the MVP this year.
it's hard to retire on top, too. It's hard to retire. It's really hard to retire on top. I, at the end, was done. My body was done. I was beat up. I physically knew. He's walking off the field probably feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
A little banged up, a little beat up from playing a long season. But now that his body's recovered, he's starting to feel a little bit better. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him come back.
How did the Rams win this game?
Up front, defensively up front. The weakest part of the Bengals is the offensive line. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. When you think about getting sacked 9 times in a game, it's demoralizing as a quarterback.
This has never happened before, I don't think. You have the guy who was sacked the most times this season playing in the Super Bowl, and the guy who led the league in interceptions is playing in the Super Bowl. That doesn't happen at that position.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's been a weird season. It's been an amazing season. But when you watch this Bengals team, the Achilles heel of this team all year long has been the offensive line. Joe Burrow's overcome it. Joe Mixon's overcome it with just stellar play and being a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. You've seen Joe changing protections at the line of scrimmage. We saw him do it in the AFC Championship game, on the road in Arrowhead Stadium. So he's got complete grasp and control of what's going on around him. He can't overcome Aaron Donald just overpowering the center and bull rushing him and ending up in his lap. That is this game's going to come down to. Can they get the ball out quick enough? Can they run some screens? Can they run the ball against Aaron Donald? And can they not give up 6+ sacks against Von Miller on one side and then Aaron Donald on the other?
And plus, you got Jalen Ramsey saying, hey, bring it on, Jamar Chase. Now, do you avoid Jalen Ramsey?
you can't avoid Jalen Ramsey because, at the end of the day, we're probably going to see Jalen Ramsey trying to match up with Chase. If you watch these last 3 games, they were moving Chase all over the field. He was motioning. He was in the backfield. He was in the slot. He was out wide. He was on the 3 receiver side. They did such a good job trying not to let any individual defender match up. At some point, you're going to run into different situations where you just can't continue to move Chase. You've got to line him up and run a play. That's when you're going to see Ramsey on him. But Ramsey's built for the Megatron, the 6'4". He's built for T. Higgins. He struggles against short, quick, fast receivers. And that's typical. Most big, long cornerbacks struggle with the short guys. They do really well against the big physical receivers. So it's not a great matchup for Jalen Ramsey. There's a quickness dynamic to Chase. There's a speed dynamic to Chase. He's got to play off him a little bit. So I wouldn't avoid him. I like that matchup from the Bengals standpoint of Chase against Ramsey.
Okay. Before we let you go, the longest run of Carson Palmer's career.
Oh, want to guess that one, Dan?
Yeah.
I can give you a hint. It was with the Cardinals, and you were 37 years old.
Wheels. I had wheels when I was
How many yards,
37.
Carson?
I'm going to say 4.
Wait, the longest run of your career?
6.
16 yards.
16?
Yeah, 16 yards.
Wow.
That was probably at the end of a half when they were playing pre-event defense, and I didn't want to risk throwing a pick on a Hail Mary, so I just ran and got out of bounds and got 16. I'll take it. 16's good.
Yeah.
You were Josh Allen before Josh Allen with that running ability. Do you do a drive-by at USC, just go in and touch the Heisman there?
I'm actually driving by the Coliseum today. We'll swing. I got my son with me, so my son Fletch is with me, so we'll roll up to the SC campus and do a quick tour. But I don't think you can touch it. I think it's in a case.
Oh.
Which,
well,
by the way,
no.
It showed up. It got there. It made its way to me. But the front plaque was broken off of it.
Oh, jeez.
You didn't have it in the case in the man cave?
We put it in the case.
No. I'm talking about like a clear case where nobody can touch it.
I don't know. What, Paulie?
I thought Fritzy was in charge of the case.
That was Fritzy.
And
That's right.
I
That was
delegated
Fritzy.
it to the back room.
Yeah, the back room got. Can you get it fixed?
I fixed it.
Oh, God. How much was it?
I just had to get some new screws for it. We're all good. Though.
Okay.
We're all good.
All right.
We're all good.
I'll pay for the screws.
Cool.
I'm so glad you got that thing back. I love that you loaned the Heisman to us, but man, when that was going back and then we couldn't find it, and then you were going to the College Football Hall of Fame, it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. Level Select CBD. Go use the promo code Carson40. We want to thank Level Select all season long. Great partner, and you too. You've made us smarter every Monday as we recap football. Have a great weekend with your son, and thanks for joining us.
You as well. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, buddy. We'll take a break. Back after this. A lot of money at USC. Okay, so I want you, let's say that one of these guys was going to audition for a quarterback role in a movie. And then you just judge how they look on drop back. So,
See the spin?
I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's
that means.
that's a
That-
3 out of 10 right there.
that's it. Okay. So,
Oh God,
Come on. You can't, oh God, in the middle.
okay, what's the problem here?
everything.
That didn't ball up
Good
high.
pocket movement.
Yeah. I don't know if I can say anything positive about it.
That's okay.
You look incredibly unathletic
correct.
in that movement with your elbows out.
Right.
I would tuck the elbows in.
Right.
That's a little bit better. You don't pat it. Don't ever pat the ball.
Feedback ahead of
Hold the ball.
Do it like,
Don't spin it in the pocket.
I feel like the spin, they always do that, right? It's like this whenever they're doing the like standing thing, and it's like, and now, Jimmy Lipper from whatever state.
Yeah, looks
they
cool.
do that, right?
Yeah,
That's
not
kind of the
not
move?
quite like that, but
No.
yeah.
That's what it feels like. I'm gonna audition to be Peyton Manning in the movie. Ooh, because his feet.
Let me
he
see
was
your
always
forehead.
Like this. I've got a big
All right,
forehead.
you got a big forehead.
Right, okay,
Not
that's
bad.
one
All
in. I gotta shave a little bit. But his feet were always like this.
Just like that.
Yeah.
He always did this.
And remember,
His
they'd
feet were
always
always
said
going.
he had happy feet in the pocket.
Yeah, he was always like this.
Suddenly I feel better.
You're in second place right now.
All right, Fritzy.
You can take first place if you can throw. It's a super quarterback thing to do, to throw the ball on the ground and it bounces right back up to you.
Yeah, but that's where you got to be careful.
Tom did that.
'cause-
Yeah,
That
cover
first
yourself.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tom
Cover
did that.
yourself.
Oh, yeah.
TB12.
Okay.
He did
No,
one of these.
throw it like you're normally throwing a football. So put your hands in the laces, and it's got to bounce off the ground and come right back up to you.
Okay. If this hits you, I apologize.
That's okay.
No,
I'll
cover
myself.
up.
Yeah, cover
I'll
up.
protect
Yeah.
myself.
So you're like, and you do a.
Well, you got to throw it.
Okay.
You've done this before.
Okay.
You just threw it to me on the ground. Holy crap.
All right, Todd.
Next.
Lefty.
Let's go, Fritz.
Who are you going to be? Okay. Oh, wow.
All right.
All right. Fair enough.
28 Baker Bruce, I ain't the legend, Omaha, kill.
Look how red his head is.
Look at that focus.
That's actually, that's the best one so far. Best one so far.
That was
Well done, Todd.
And you were Jim Zorn-like there.
I'll take that.
Jim
It's a large
Zorn-like.
Baker, bravo.
All right.
That's great. See? And nobody did the Dak.
We didn't do the Jack Little hip thing.
No. Nobody did.
That thing.
And Carson just said that you throw with your body, your core, your hips, not your arm.
Yeah.
And most people think if you got a good arm,
Yeah, exactly.
and I always hate when they go, well, that guy's got a cannon. I don't care how strong your arm is.
Yeah.
Can you hit a target?
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of guys that you play with that are like, damn, that guy can throw it really far. Yeah, you need to throw it short.
Especially when somebody's about to smoke you right in the face. 290.
All right, Todd, let's see you block it.
That was very close to hitting you in the face.
I tried to hit you in the face. Thank you, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks,
Oh,
Carson.
don't
Appreciate
forget
it.
your
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Pleasure. Talk soon.
product
Well, yeah,
placement.
talk soon. Thank you. You don't want this for
I have
later?
the roll-on.
Okay. Roll-on's better.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
week. Good to
I
meet
agree.
you. Thanks for coming out.